So, your home isn't simply one of the biggest investments that you make in your life, but it's also your physical shelter. It is the space where you've made memories over years. But as much as you may love your home, there does sometimes come a time when you feel like it's time to move on. My name is Nancy from Nancy Chu Homes. I'm a real estate agent here in Northern New Jersey, and in my 18 years in the business, I've sold over $500 million in real estate. And today we are going to be talking about the 5 signs that it's time to sell your home. Listen, according to the National Association of Realtors, most people make a move if they feel like their needs are changing, right? So let's say, for instance, you're feeling like you're outgrowing your space, you might want to move up, or if it looks like, hey, we've got more space than we need, then you might be looking to downsize. So let's look at some of the factors, right, that could help you make this decision. Sign number 1, home equity. So in very simple terms, the difference between what your home is worth today versus the amount that you owe in your mortgage is what is your home equity. So knowing how much equity you have in your home is like a really big part of that first step towards considering a sale. Because I have to be honest with you, at least in New Jersey, what we've seen is home prices have really gone up. So a lot of folks stand to make a pretty decent profit, and they might be looking to take the money out of that house right now to do something else. Number 2, okay, listen, aside from your, monthly mortgage costs, let's be honest, right? It does cost quite a bit to maintain a home. Homeowners insurance, property taxes, general maintenance costs. As this happens, things do tend to go up. And if you're starting to feel a financial strain or that it is really cutting into your budget, then it might be time to be a bit resourceful, sell, and find a more affordable home, okay? And sometimes selling that home to ease the burden of, these costs could be a better route, possibly, over risking foreclosure, especially if you've underestimated your housing costs. Number 3, how about the fact that sometimes your lifestyle changes and so do your needs? How about this? You've got a growing family and maybe this house is great, but now that you've got a kid and 2 more on the way, who knows, right? Set of twins are coming. It's time for us to upsize. Or what if you sent your kids to college and they're not coming back because they're getting their own apartments? Well, maybe it's time to downsize because who needs a 4-bedroom house? Why would you want to maintain it when you really only need 2 bedrooms now? So there are many, many factors in your lifestyle that may bring about the change and the need to sell your home. Okay, number 4. Let's talk about the maintenance of home ownership. Landscaping, house cleaning, pest control, trash removal, recycling schedules, septic service, well water, maybe even tree service, snow removal. I'm just barely listing things, right? This is just the beginning of all the things that come with a relatively hefty price tag when you actually own your own home, okay? And especially if you're in a home situation where you don't really need all the space, then you're paying a lot of money to maintain. And to be honest, Home Guide in 2024 said that the average home ranges between $4,000 to about $20,000 in maintenance cost every year, depending on the age, the size, the location, the condition, right? So honestly, if the energy that it takes you to maintain this home is starting to just feel like it's too much, then maybe it's worth considering selling and buying something that's a little more low maintenance. Number 5, when you decide whether it's time to list your home for sale, sometimes I've seen sellers simply decide to sell because they think that it's a seller's market and that it would be a great idea to do it now because the market is so strong for them. And to be honest, I have actually seen this. I had a very close friend of mine. She sold her house and moved into a rental because they were trying to decide whether or not they would stay in New Jersey or whether they would move to Florida. And at the time, the easier thing to do for them was to catch the market while it was hot, sell, get the equity out, get a really good price on it. And then they felt like because they had cash in hand, they would be able to move very quickly once they made that decision. And they did. When they were finally ready and decided to, pinpointed where they wanted to go, they were able to make a very fast offer because all of their ducks and all of their financial ducks were in a row. So sometimes people choose to sell simply because they're timing the market and the market is good and they want to be fast and ready and very flexible in what they do next. All right. These are the 5 major reasons why people sell their homes. Of course, listen, there's always the conversations that we hear. You hear this a lot. Estates, sometimes people sell because there's a death in the family. The owner of this home has passed away. Sometimes it's a divorce situation. You've seen that as well, right? Folks decide to split up and it's time for them to sell the home in order to split the profits and move forward. Sometimes it's about the job, right? You might get a fabulous opportunity across the country and the decision might be to sell because it's time to relocate. Yes, there's a lot of different reasons, but the truth is, and this is the most important thing, you have to decide whether in the end you are emotionally ready to sell. Because the process of selling is an emotional roller coaster, okay? You have a personal attachment to the home. This is a very important thing to you. And unfortunately, to prepare a home, you have to do a lot of things. You have to declutter, which means you have to throw away things that might be important to you. You have to prepare the home for sale. And worst of all, you have to prepare yourself for the kind of possibly critical or negative feedback that you might receive from potential buyers. All buyers have their own opinions and they have no problems voicing it out loud. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's really hard to hear. And even if all the numbers are saying that it's time to sell, even if all the circumstances are saying it's time to sell, listen, the psychological preparedness is just as important. So make sure to give yourself a little grace and the time to do it right. Okay? Now on the flip side, you may already have it. It's the next logical step and you are ready to do it. You have the means, let's go. Having a solid plan next is what helps you move on quickly and with as little challenge as possible. Listen, don't get me wrong. The decision to sell the house, it's entirely up to you, right? And you need to take your time to decide if this is really what you want. And of course, I will always be here to help you make that evaluation, help you figure out how much your house should be selling for, how much equity you have, and I will always be the trusted and knowledgeable real estate agent in Northern New Jersey who's going to help you do this when you're ready. All right, guys, thank you so much. Once again, if you find what we have to say valuable, please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff so that we can help other people as well. I'll talk to you guys next week.